You ever notice that one person who's still using a Nokia 3310? Everyone's doing TikTok dances, wearing the same style of jeans, listening to the same viral song, but not them. They're over there, unbothered, doing their own thing like the rest of the world doesn't exist. And you might think, are they just stubborn, out of touch, trying too hard to be different? But here's the thing. There's actually a hidden psychology behind why some people never jump on trends. And honestly, it's way more interesting than you'd think. Let's start with the most common type, the authenticity protector. This is someone who genuinely feels uncomfortable doing something just because everyone else is doing it. It's not rebellion, it's not ego, it's about identity. They've built their sense of self around being original, and when a trend sweeps through, it feels like a threat. Like, if I do this now, am I still me, or am I just a copy? Imagine someone who's been listening to indie bands for years, and suddenly one of those bands goes mainstream. Everyone's playing it. It's on every playlist. And instead of feeling proud, this person feels weird, like something was taken from them. Psychologically, this comes from a deep need for self-consistency. They want their choices to reflect who they are, not what's popular. So they resist. Not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. Maybe that's you. Maybe you felt that quiet discomfort when something you liked became a thing. It's not snobbery, it's protection. Then there's the overwhelmed observer. This person isn't avoiding trends because they're too cool for them. They're avoiding them because trends move too fast. By the time they notice something's popular, it's already dying. They see everyone doing a dance, wearing a certain outfit, using a new phrase, and their brain just goes, wait, when did this happen? How do people keep up? There's a psychological concept called decision fatigue, where too many choices or too much stimulation makes it harder to engage. For the overwhelmed observer, trends feel like constant homework. They'd rather sit back, watch it all happen, and stick with what they know. It's safer, it's calmer, and honestly, it's less exhausting. You might recognize this in yourself if you've ever scrolled through social media and thought, I have no idea what any of this means anymore. That's not you being old or boring. That's your brain protecting itself from overload. But here's the twist. Some people avoid trends because they're actually hyper-aware of social influence and they don't like being manipulated. Enter the skeptical analyst. This is the person who sees a trend and immediately asks, why is everyone doing this? Who benefits? What's the psychology behind it? They're not paranoid. They're just awake. They notice when a brand creates a trend to sell something. They see through viral marketing. They recognize groupthink. And once they see it, they can't unsee it. So they opt out. Not because the trend itself is bad, but because they refuse to be part of a machine they didn't choose. Psychologically, this ties into something called reactance theory. When people feel their freedom is being limited or their choices are being controlled, they push back hard. The skeptical analyst feels like trends are a form of social pressure, and their resistance is a way of reclaiming autonomy. Maybe you felt this. Maybe you've seen everyone wearing the same thing and thought, I'm not doing that just because I'm supposed to. That's not being difficult. That's being intentional. Another type is the slow adopter. This person doesn't hate trends, they just wait. They let everyone else test the waters first. They watch, they observe, and then, 6 months later, when the hype has died down, they quietly try it. No announcement, no fanfare, just a private decision. Psychologically, this comes from risk aversion. They don't want to invest time, energy, or money into something that might disappear in 2 weeks. They don't want to feel foolish, so they wait until something proves it has staying power. You might know someone like this, or maybe it's you. The person who finally watched that show everyone was talking about a year later. The person who started using a platform after it stopped being cool. They're not late, they're strategic. And then there's the quiet rebel. This is the person who avoids trends, specifically because they don't want to blend in. It's not about authenticity or skepticism. It's about differentiation. They want to stand out. They want to be noticed for not following the crowd. There's a bit of ego here, sure, but there's also something deeper,
a fear of invisibility. Psychologically, this ties into optimal distinctiveness theory, which says people want to belong, but they also want to be unique. The quiet rebel leans hard into the uniqueness side. They'd rather be remembered as the one who never followed trends than be forgotten as part of the crowd. Maybe you felt this. Maybe you've deliberately avoided something popular just to prove you're different. It's not always healthy, but it's definitely human.
So, where do you fall? Are you the authenticity protector, guarding your sense of self? The overwhelmed observer, just trying to keep up? The skeptical analyst, questioning everything? The slow adopter, waiting for proof? Or the quiet rebel, standing apart on purpose? Maybe you're a mix. Maybe it changes depending on the trend. But here's what's interesting. None of these types are wrong. They're just different ways of navigating a world that's constantly telling you what to do, what to wear, what to like. And honestly, understanding why you resist trends might tell you more about yourself than following them ever could. So, which one are you?